Good morning, guys. Today is Monday, March 30th. Okay, what I'm going to do in today's lesson is I'm going to go over the homework you had over the weekend. So if you had any trouble with it, I'm going to work it out and explain it. And tonight for homework, you're going to do some more problems. So let's start with number 1 in the homework. You had to solve equations using trig values. It was 4 sine theta equals 2 sine theta plus 2. Plus radical 2. Big thing. Okay, I have sign on either side of the equal sign, so I'm going to bring this over to the left by subtracting. So then I'm going to have 2 sine theta equals the square root of 2. Divide both sides by 2. And I'm going to get the sine of theta is equal to radical 2 over 2. Okay, now I have to find what angle has a sine of radical 2 over 2. Okay, first of all, it's positive. I know sine is positive here and here. In quadrant 1, theta is going to be pi over 4. In quadrant 2, theta is going to be 3 pi over 4, because I know this is 4 over 4, and we haven't yet gotten to that. So that's my answer. There are 2 angles that have this answer. If you're missing one of the angles, you are not correct. It has to be both answers. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2 is 5 cosine of x equals 3 cosine x plus radical 3. I'm going to subtract the 3 cosine x. It's similar to the question right above. This is going to be combining like terms. If this gets you confused, take out the word cosine and just do the x's. So this would be 2 cosine x equals radical 3. Divide both sides by 2. Cosine of x is equal to radical 3 over 2. Again, where is cosine positive? It's positive in quadrant 1. It's positive in quadrant 4. The angle in quadrant 1 is going to be pi over 6. And in quadrant 4, it's going to be 11 pi over 6, because we know that this is 12 over 6. Okay, you guys can do this with your unit circle sitting right next to you. All right, let's do number 3. Hopefully you're not looking at it that much, but I can't tell you not to because I'm not there. 5 tan theta plus 2 equals 3 tan theta. Okay, I'm going to bring the 5 to the 3, so I'm going to have 2 equals negative 2 tan theta. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. I'm going to have negative 1 equals tan theta. Now, before you jump on, oh, it's a quadrantal angle, it's a 1. It's not. This is the tangent. The only angle that has a tangent of 1 is going to be pi over 4. However, this is negative, so where do we live? We're in negative tangent. Okay, another stupid trig class. I'm not here, and I'm not here. Those are where tangent's positive, so it has to be here and here. We know that the angle is a pi over 4 reference angle. Okay, so we have to find pi over 4 in quadrant 2. In quadrant 2, that would be 3 pi over 4. Okay, because it hasn't yet reached the 4 over 4. This would be 8 over 4, so in quadrant 4, it would be 7 pi over 4. Okay, all right, let's move on to number 4. My lessons go a lot quicker when I don't have people asking questions, even though most of your questions is, can I go to the bathroom? 5 sine x plus 2 equals sine x. Again, I'm going to subtract the 5, bring it to this side. 2 equals negative 4 sine x, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. Sine x equals negative 1/2. Okay, again, we got to find out where sine is negative. It's in quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. We know that the reference angle is going to be pi over 6. So in this quadrant, I'm past 6 over 6. So it's 7 pi over 6. And it's not yet 12 over 6, so it's my favorite, 11 pi over 6. Let's go to number 5. 5 is equal to secant squared of x plus 3. Okay, this one was a little tricky. I'll subtract 3 from both sides, and I'll get 2 is equal to the secant squared of x. I need to get rid of the square, so I'll square root both sides. So I'm going to be left with, I'm going to flip it around, secant x equals the square root of 2. I don't know the secant of anything, but I know secant is the flip of cosine. If I flip this, I'm left with 1 over radical 2, which we're never going to leave like that. We know we're going to rationalize it. Radical 2 over radical 2. So I'm left with this. So to simplify, the cosine of x is equal to radical 2 over 2. All right, cosine is positive here and here. We know radical 2 over 2 is pi over 4. At least we should at this point. So in quadrant 1, it's pi over 4. In quadrant 4, it's 7 pi over 4. And I just made a mistake. I just realized it. When I did the square root, here, this should have been plus and minus. Okay, very important. So that means this is plus and minus going down, which means that I am available everywhere. So not only am I pi over 4 in quadrant 1, I am 3 pi over 4 in quadrant 2, and I am 5 pi over 4. Okay, so whenever you have a square root, chances are you're going to have 4 answers. Not every time, because if it's a quadrantal, it won't work out that way. But for the most part, when you have a square and you have to square root something, you're going to have plus and minus. It's going to be available everywhere. You're going to have multiple answers. All right. Now, that only works if we're talking about a reference angle, not a quadrantal angle. And I think the next one's a quadrantal angle. So let's see. 9 plus the sine squared x equals 10. I bring the 9 to the other side. Here's exactly what I was speaking up. Sine squared x is 1, okay? When I square root this, it's still going to be a plus and minus 1, okay? It's not just going to be positive 1. It's going to be also negative 1. This is a quadrantal angle. Who has a sine, okay, of positive 1? Well, that's going to be here. And who has a sine of negative 1? Well, that's going to be here. Okay, so even though it was a plus and minus, it's not 4 answers, it's just 2 answers. It's going to be up here, which is pi over 2, and down here, which is 3 pi over 2. Okay, guys, please take a second to check all your answers, okay? If you have any questions, send me back an email or a text. Tonight, we're going to work on some more practice problems like this. Okay, I hope you guys are doing okay. I miss you guys. What is this now, week 3? This is crazy. Just do me a favor, please stay safe, okay? Social distance. I know you guys are missing your friends and stuff, but please don't go hanging out with them in a car. Don't do that because we have to stop the spread of this. This stuff is horrible. All right, I miss you guys, and I will send you out a worksheet for you to do. Have a nice Monday. Love you. Bye.